Is 2hollis actually a Nepo baby? Let me explain. There's been a growing conversation online about 2hollis, specifically whether his rise in the underground scene is completely organic or if there's something else behind it. The phrase being thrown around is Nepo baby, and like most internet accusations, the truth isn't as simple as people want it to be. So let's break down the actual evidence, both for and against the allegation. Before we even get into 2hollis specifically, we need to define what people mean when they say Nepo baby. A nepotism baby is someone whose career is significantly helped by family connections, whether that's industry access, money, or direct opportunities. But there's a difference between having connections and being carried by them, and that distinction is where this entire debate lives. Let's start with why people believe this in the first place. One of the main arguments is that 2hollis didn't come from nowhere. There are claims that he had access to resources, whether that's equipment, connections, or early exposure, that most underground artists don't have. And in a scene where authenticity matters, even perceived privilege can create backlash. Another point people bring up is how quickly his name started circulating in certain underground circles. In scenes that are usually slow to accept new artists, that kind of traction can raise eyebrows. People start asking, is this organic, or is someone helping push this? From early on in his career, 2hollis had a very defined sound and visual identity. Some argue that level of polish suggests access to resources, whether that's production knowledge, time, or financial support. Additionally, 2hollis is the son of Catherine Frazier and John Herndon. His mother is a prominent music publicist who founded the PR firm Biz3 and co-founded the record label OWSLA. His father is a notable musician and drummer for the foundational Chicago post-rock band Tortoise. 2hollis himself grew up around the music industry, attending his father's concerts and being exposed to music production from an early age. Although all of this points toward him being a Nepo baby, this isn't actual proof of him being one. Now, let's flip it, because there are just as many reasons this claim doesn't fully hold up. As of now, there's no widely confirmed proof that 2hollis was handed deals, placements, or major cosigns because of family ties. And that's important, because nepotism usually leaves a paper trail. Without that, the claim becomes more speculative than factual. The kind of audience 2hollis built is extremely sensitive to authenticity. If his growth was purely artificial, it likely wouldn't have sustained. Underground listeners are quick to reject anything that feels forced, including myself. The fact that his music resonates suggests there's something real connecting with people. Even if someone has access to better tools or an easier starting point, they still need to create something people actually care about. You can't fake replay value, and a lot of listeners genuinely like his production style, vocal delivery, and overall atmosphere. On top of that, in a 2026 New York Times interview, 2hollis and his father addressed online speculation about his upbringing. 2hollis acknowledged the advantages of his background, but emphasized his independence, stating that he wanted to build his career on his own and even blocked his mother on Instagram early on to maintain that independence.
One of the other sort of recurring conversations about you, and one of the reasons I think it's so interesting that you guys were interested and willing in doing this interview together, is this Nepo baby conversation, this idea that you're only successful and popular, not even according to most people online because of your dad, who is an accomplished musician, but in the conspiracy theories of the depths of Reddit and X and Instagram comments because of your mom's connections in the industry. You know, I think there's a literal nepotism in which people are given opportunities because of the standing of their parents or friends or loved ones. And then there's a sort of more subtle version, a cultural nepotism, which is, as we've discussed already, you grew up around people who appreciated arts and culture and tended to your interest in it and encouraged you and supported you and got you Ableton, etc. Obviously, you don't want to be part of the peanut gallery back and forth about what you did or didn't earn, but how has your thinking on that subject evolved over the years as it's been sort of bandied about when people are talking about your career?
Yeah, it's a huge talking point. And I've kind of remained a bit quiet on it for a long time because I just felt like, exactly like you said, it's this kind of back and forth of like, I don't want to argue, you know? It's just, I think like the music speaks for itself. But I will say, first of all, I'm so proud of my mother and what she's accomplished for herself. I mean, she came from pretty much nothing. And with you, like what you've achieved, your band, everything. And I know my truth, which is, yes, I am very fortunate and blessed to be born into a house where I was shown incredible music at an early age. And I was introduced to artists all my life. I was going to shows. Yes, I was meeting influential artists early on. However, my own career, 2hollis, Drippy Soup, whatever, from the fucking beginning to the end, like it was my mission. And yes, it was helped by you getting me things and showing me influences and whatever, but I was always so focused on, I want to do this my way. And it's actually funny. When I was younger, like early days, I like blocked my mom on Instagram. And I was like, do not show my music to anyone. And she'd be like, can I please show it to like whatever, her friend that works at whatever. I'd be like, no, I want to do this myself. And you know, I know people will, it's hard to believe that, but that's just my truth. And it was always my own mission and my own story. But yeah, of course, you know, I am blessed to be born into a house that is full of art and creativity. But I think maybe my argument to some of the people who try to, you know, kind of knock me down with that argument, it's like, well, what do you want me to do? Because let's say you're an incredible soccer player and you have a son and he starts showing interest in soccer. Are you going to tell him, nah, you can't play. I was successful, so that you can't do that. It's like, well, what? Like, I'm an artist. It's in my blood. It's from you, from my mom.
Right.
I have, you know, a passion, and no one's making me do anything. This is my music is my therapy. Like this is my outlet. Why would I not do it? You know,
young Bronny James.
Are you kidding me? Like, why would this not be my? My life.
I mean, there's all these like kids that are skateboarder pros now that are children of older skateboarder pros, and you know they wouldn't be winning contests if they didn't have the skills to win a contest. I mean, if people didn't love Hollis's music, it wouldn't matter if me or his mom put him up there or got him whatever. It wouldn't matter.
Right, there's no amount of equipment you could buy him that was going to make him a star.
And the truth is that my mom has never worked me. She's never pushed me. I've never been represented by her. He's never like put me no one's ever put me anywhere. Like everything I have, it's been me. Like the internet.
I mean, Hollis figured out like how to get stuff up on SoundCloud, how to get stuff on the streaming services, how to edit his own movies, how to did everything himself. And people saw it and liked it and loved it. And, you know, Ken Carson saw it and was like, come on tour with me. And that was all because of what Hollis had done for himself. It had nothing to do with his mom or me.
Also, from what I've seen online, 2hollis began producing music in high school under the alias Drippy Soup in 2018. In 2020, he changed his name to 2hollis. During this period, Hollis wrote music in a medieval fantasy style, creating the group Open Swords of Ten, commonly abbreviated to OSX. His first songs were described as medieval trap by 032C. He first gained attention for his 2022 album, White Tiger. His 2023 song, Poster Boy, was included as part of EA Sports FC24's soundtrack. He gained further popularity in 2024 after the release of singles such as Crush and Jeans and the subsequent release of his third studio album, Boy. When I watched the White Tiger music videos and his other lesser-known music videos, they seem to all be filmed by his friends in regular places in the city or towns. This is more evidence that he did not use the resources he was born with, because the production quality would be much higher, more artificial, and wouldn't have been filmed by a bunch of teenagers. But what this really comes down to isn't just 2hollis, it's how people interpret success in the underground. When an artist rises quickly, people look for an explanation, and sometimes Nepo baby or industry blant becomes a shortcut answer for something more complex. Because the reality is, some artists do have advantages, some artists are just talented, and a lot of the time, it's both. So, is 2hollis a Nepo baby? There's some circumstantial evidence that suggests he may have had advantages, but there's no clear proof that his entire career is built on nepotism alone. And more importantly, the music itself is what keeps people listening. At the end of the day, connections might open doors, but they don't make people stay. Thank you for watching, and bye guys.